Good morning, Chattanooga. How are you this morning? Good morning, Dr. Murphy.
Good morning, Dr. Renee. How is everything in your world?
Everything is great. How about you?
Look, I can't complain. I really can't complain.
Hey, there's no sense of complaining, is there?
Right,
It's not going to change anything, is it?
right. Sometimes it just make you feel a little bit better just to
Well,
get it
yeah,
off your chest
that's true. That's
though. Oh
true.
yeah.
So we want to welcome Chattanooga back to our show today. This morning, we
Mhm.
talked about a little bit about we talked about relationships last week. So we're gonna recap what we talked about. We talked about relationships and
Yeah.
relationship goals. And so we
Yes.
talked a little bit about how you would be supportive of your significant other in their goals. So we're going to continue to talk about that, but we're going to transition a little bit and talk about what if you're in a relationship and both of you have you think you say you're on the same page with
Mhm.
goals, but one of you're not.
Mm.
You think you're on the same page, but you're not. And I found something that was interesting
Okay.
this morning.
Tell me
And
about it, sis.
it says secrets and lies jeopardize trust and can damage us and our relationships, sometimes irreparable. Do we all tell white lies?
Hmm. But what is a white lie? What's
Ah,
classified as
that
a white
little bitty lie well, it's not gonna hurt. A
lie?
little.
But is there really a such thing as a white lie? Because I ain't gonna lie.
Mm.
If somebody white lie me once or twice, I'm gonna start looking at you as a big old lie.
Yeah, that's true. And
Yeah.
and that's so interesting because there's a quote that says a single lie in a relationship makes one question every truth ever that was in it. So you
Mm.
begin to question everything.
Yeah.
A single lie in a relationship makes one question every truth
Yeah.
ever that was in it. So that is that's something to think about.
Well, just a question since you brought that up. I'm just curious because as we recapped last week, you know, I'm single, you're married. Has that happened to you in your relationship where, that person maybe told a small lie and, now I can't trust what you're saying? Because I know that's happened to me plenty of times. Not being married and just kind of, maybe dating here or there. Because I feel
Mhm.
like once that happens, I can't. Like I don't know. I gotta see if you tell me it's sunny outside, I gotta go look. What you
Okay.
what you
Yeah,
think?
I think that it has happened. I mean, for myself, personal experience. I mean, not that I wasn't on the same page, but I like to shop sometimes, and so
Mhm.
I might go out and buy some stuff and
Nothing wrong with that.
put it in the trunk of my car and
Nothing wrong with that at all. Nothing wrong with that.
oh, get that outfit. I've had it for a couple of weeks now, so
Yeah.
yeah, that
Yeah.
doesn't. So I can
Okay.
consider that, yeah, it's not
Mhm.
a white lie. I mean,
Yeah.
or I was just not telling the truth. And then you have these Amazon packages coming all the time.
I
Your
know.
doorstep. You get home and you got all these. Okay, did you just get this or So you just
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I thought we needed that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's going to be cool for us to just kind of talk about things because, of course, we want to be focused on our goals, but
Mhm.
sometimes we can get a little sidetracked. I mean, it could be innocently, or someone could just be, uh, I don't know, they could just be used to telling lies or hiding things.
Mm,
So,
yeah,
yeah,
and it does jeopardize a relationship. It really does.
yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah.
So I kind of let me first of all, let's back up and let's go by what a lie is. Cause we we kind of brought up white lies, but a lie is a lie. But let's go by the definition. So lies can be falsehoods, cover-ups, deceptions, fakery, a sham, distortion, deceit, or dishonesty. And
Mm.
that was just the first couple of ones that I saw.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Just saying that lies, like I said, lies can play a big part of relationships, especially when you have a trusting partner and you're trying to build. Think about two people trying to build an empire together. One person already maybe took the back seat, and y'all are just trying to figure it out how you can build this thing together. And saying that, if that person starts to fall off and be on a different page, what can that do to the relationship and what we're trying to build? Of course, we're in finance. And so we kind of want to focus on, how lies can affect finance. And like I said, what can happen with the family if, if the person, if someone starts to get off track, let me say.
Right. Right.
So, yeah. So I have a couple of things down too.
Okay.
And let me ask you first, why do you think people lie in relationships? I have a couple of things written down
Mm-hmm.
where just some things that other people have reported. But what do you think, sis? What do you think they lie about,
I think people lie in relationships because
or why they lie?
why do they lie? I would say because they don't feel that what they're doing is will be accepted.
Hmm. So almost like you can't, I don't know,
Be,
is that
you
like a
can't be
fear
your
of
true self. You can't really express. I mean, to me, it would be almost like you're not really comfortable in your own skin to be able, or in your relationship to be able to communicate your true self.
yeah.
And then if you
So
can't communicate your true self, then you're hiding something. You're shielding a part of you, which you shouldn't be. You should be in a relationship where you can be able to, share all. You know what
yeah.
I mean, and show, be your true self.
So almost like you feel like you by yourself maybe wouldn't be good enough. And so you need to morph into something that you may not be, or a front that you may, a
Yes,
front you're trying to
fakery,
portray.
fakery. Yes, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Is that such a word, fakery? I don't know if
it
it's a
is.
word or not, but
It
I
is.
just made up a word.
It's real thing too. So yes, bakery.
Fakery.
But I have down maybe like the top 10 things that
Mm-hmm.
why people lie in relationships. And so, we can just kind of talk about each one and how it pertains because, like I said, we do deal with finance. And
Right.
so, number one, I have down the fear of disappointment or being looked down upon.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I can
I,
see that. I can definitely see that. Like when we talked last week, when you were saying that, what if you had a significant other who didn't make as much money as you?
Mhm.
um, and we both had two different perspectives on that, but that person inside could be thinking, well, I do feel less than her, or I do feel less than him because I don't make as much money, I don't contribute as much to the household financially. And so that's a valid point, I think.
Yeah.
And it can make someone fall into a deceitful type um, attitude, and start doing things behind the spouse because they don't feel adequate.
Yeah. And I mean, I've even had the opposite side, it could be being judged on what somebody feels like your debt is.
Mm,
So, I had dreams and goals and things that I was working on before I even met you. And so, at different times, the person you're dating or talking to, or even marriage in your case, could be judging you off of the debt that they feel like, okay, you settle with debt. You have student loans, you got a house payment. Meanwhile, you just trying you building in your own world. And so
hmm
whereas one person may look at it as debt, the other person's looking at it like, well, I did the doggone thing. You know what I
hmm
mean? I did what I
Right,
could. So yeah.
right. Yeah.
And so I think it is important um, to just kind of highlight, nobody should have to feel like they have to cover up anything. Whatever your story is, or whatever your past is, you can still use that to help other people. It's going to be plenty of people, eventually one day, when we get to the top of our empire, they're not going to believe, that's all that they're going to see is where we
Right.
are
Right.
versus
Not the
those things.
story. Not the
Yeah,
story, what it took to get
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
So all of that is a part of the story, and then people trying to kind of cover up, trying to cover up what they're doing or what they're about or where they came from, that takes away from the story side. So,
Mhm.
let people see that you're real, I think.
Yeah, that's true. That's
So
that's true. Yeah, you
yeah,
want to be vulnerable in relationships, and you want to be transparent, and you want to be your true self. That's so
you
important,
do. You
you know.
do.
Yeah, how to me that would be so awkward to be with someone that you couldn't you couldn't express yourself. Or be honest,
Right.
truly honest and vulnerable
Mm-hmm.
about
I
your
agree.
feelings, about if they are on a different level than you, you express that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they can, and maybe it could be something that you all could work on together.
Right. And it could be something, like I said, it's really just two mind frames. Same way somebody thinks about something being half empty, the other person's like, well, it's really half full. So,
Exactly.
it's mindset also.
It is. It is.
So number two thing that I have down is habit. So just a habitual liar.
Oh, okay. Just lie, just to be lying, just to be
Just
lying.
lying I guess just because it feel good. Uh, so that was, kind of self-explanatory. Number three, I have down desire to protect. Now,
Mm.
I feel like that one is
Mm.
debatable because the question is, are you really protecting your loved ones or are you protecting yourself? Which one?
Mm. Are you protecting your loved ones? Or are you protecting yourself?
Mm-hmm.
That's a very difficult one because I think that sometimes people lie, yeah, to protect their loved ones, but for it depends on what type of reason. I mean, protect them from what? I mean, from them finding out that you've done something that you weren't supposed to do, or
You mean on a
protecting them
more?
from. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I was going
Well,
to ask.
I'm just trying to weigh that out, and I'm just trying to figure out what are you protecting them from that's so uh, terrible that you can't express to them what is going on.
Right.
That's my thing.
Yeah.
Um,
And it could be I mean, to me, that's debatable. Like I said,
yeah, it is.
I feel like a lot of times when people lie like that, they really just protecting themselves. I mean, it could be something as light as, oh, I didn't tell my husband about this, this $1,000 I racked up on this credit card, that's for his protection. No, it's really in a little bit of deceit versus there could be someone out here who's trying, who maybe got diagnosed with a sickness and maybe they're trying to keep that from the family. And so
Mhm.
ultimately, both ways are going to end up, hurting them
Being
in the
hurtful.
long run.
Yeah, been hurtful. Yeah.
So, yeah. Now, number four, I have placing importance on something not really important. How many
Hmm.
people do we see do that? Um, out here, purses, bags, things that aren't important.
Shoes. I mean,
Yeah.
I just found myself. I think I shared with you a couple of years ago. I bought me some red bottoms, and you
Mhm.
know the the Louis purse, and I didn't I really didn't need that. It's just something that you want to purchase.
Yeah.
However, is it really important? Do you have to have those things when you can actually put your money somewhere else?
Right.
Um, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And it's something to think about too, because of course we deal with finance and insurance
Mhm.
also. And
Mhm.
if you think about that money that you spend on that Louis bag, that, let's just say on the conservative side, a good 1900. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You could have put that
Mhm.
in either in a couple of different places. You could have put
Yeah.
that in a type of account that we help our clients with, where you're getting compound interest. And then, you could have made a decision off of that, like, okay, do I want to take the compound interest that I made and then buy that? Or do I want to keep building? Or, like I said, even if you just wanted to buy an insurance policy, just in case, like, if something were to happen, that bag isn't going to save your family. But you could have put that money into a policy. Whereas if I get sick, the company is going to pay me a check every month. And if something happened in the event of my demise, I left this earth, I know that my family is well taken care of with this policy that I bought. So I instantly increased my net worth just by buying this policy and helping to, create generational wealth. That
And you
Louis bag isn't gonna
it's
do
in
it.
my closet that I never even carry it, and that's
Mhm.
terrible, and that's so awesome that you say that, bring that out, because it's not making me any money.
But it's okay though. Like, it's important for, I think that's a good reason why it's important for us to have these conversations, because we
Mhm.
don't realize in the moment we just feel like, oh, well, I deserve this.
Yeah,
I've been working hard. I've been doing this, that, and the third. And don't get me wrong,
there's
rewarding
nothing wrong
yourself.
with it. Yeah,
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with
there's
it.
nothing wrong.
But when it turns into a habit and you habitually, you just out here spending and
Right.
covering things up, that leads to a whole different rabbit hole.
That's true. And that's what you were talking about. We talked about a little bit about last night and this morning about, wanting to keep up with the Joneses,
Yes.
So
And
that's another thing that a lot of times people go out and get in all this debt,
yeah,
trying to buy a bigger house or bigger car or more expensive this, more expensive that. And is that really important? You have
right.
to ask yourself, if is it really that important to have the most expensive this and that?
Yeah. And I will say social media is a huge
This or
culprit.
that. I'm sorry, this or that.
And social media is a huge culprit of that. I
Yeah,
mean,
it
people
is.
can look one way on the gram, look
Yeah.
one way on that page. Oh, I got this new vehicle. And you
Mm-hmm.
find out that the car that they took a picture in front of, they were just at the car lot. They were just
They
looking. They
don't
were
even
just
own
sitting
the
there.
car.
They didn't make a purchase. I've even seen ones where, people, it looks like they flying on a private jet looking out the window. And then
Mm-hmm.
they
I've
cut,
seen. Yeah.
cut to the scene. It is just a window that they got. It's just a prop set that they have.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, you have all these people looking like they are really buying these things. And
Mm-hmm.
some might be, but I
Yeah.
guarantee you, if you pull those records, they probably sitting in a ton of credit card debt and some other types of debt out here.
Yeah. That's
And it's
true.
not a good thing.
That's
Um,
true. That's
you
true.
may have bought the item in this moment, but
Right.
you're gonna end up paying for that item 3, 4 times over, leaving it on
Mhm.
that credit card like that.
Yeah. You're right. And then, and we have a lot of people who, a lot of us that are on social media, on Instagram. And like you said, we are taken by, well, I used to be, but, when you see all these people with the private jets and, all
Mhm.
the Louis Vuittons and all these, nice products and things of that
Right.
nature, you sort oh, wow, how do they do that? What are they doing? And it's just to grab people's attention and get them off of their goals, take them off the square if they are, if they have goals, and jump onto the bandwagon. And that's, to me, that's living like trying to keep up with the Joneses. To me, that's an example
Right.
of that, because you're
Right.
not focused on your own goals. You're looking at what somebody else is doing. And like you just mentioned, you don't even know if that's their stuff or their
You don't.
car or their house,
Mhm.
or and so
Because
you
they
get
could have borrowed
sidetracked.
it.
Huh?
I said they could have borrowed it.
Yeah.
Different designers at different times, they have items on the prop set for you to take pictures with.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I think it's important, like I said, at the end of the day, take that step back and, just to start reevaluating maybe what we're getting and why we're looking to get it. If we just really want it and we save for it and it really means something, that's one thing. You should reward yourself. But just because I see Keisha and Toya with one of these bags, and next time we go to brunch, I want to have one too, that's another story.
Yeah,
Now you competing, and that's not what you want to get into.
that's true.
So yeah. So the next one I have is get a rush or like risky behavior.
Risky behavior.
Risky behavior.
Oh, okay, risky behavior.
Some people like a thrill.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily one of those people. I mean, I'll take a thrill like a roller coaster ride, but other than that, like these other little thrills that could end up getting me and my money in jeopardy, that's another story.
Yeah.
So yeah. Now, number 6, I have shame could be a reason why people lie. So, I mean, this could go 2 different ways. It could be a reason why people lie or a reason why it continues. And so, we probably need to look at ourselves. And like I said, most people, they do continue lies like that just because it's like, okay, well, I told one lie, now I got to tell another one to cover it up.
Cover up the other one, yeah.
Free yourself. Free yourself. Tell the truth and free yourself. That way you don't have to be held up by those bonds.
Right.
What do you think, Dr. Renee? What you
I think yes, most definitely I agree, because who wants to keep all that bottled up inside of them, because you gotta keep up with the lie first of all.
Yeah.
And you're gonna eventually tell on yourself, So
right.
Well,
we're gonna find out. Just women, we're going to find out.
Yeah, and just face it. Face what you lied about, and so you can move forward. There's no sense of just keep walking around, trying to keep up with all those different lies. I know I can. I know I'm going to tell on myself. So.
Well, me too. Honestly, I don't even like lying. Like, it bothers me if I don't give all the details. Right. And look, that's something I need to work on myself. But I'm just like, I would never do that. Us as our mates, if you think about our mates, are supposed to be our best friends, our confidant, the one person that you can talk to, supposed to be a soft place to fall. And the fact that, I can't be myself or be honest with that person. If I can't be honest with them, I can't be honest with anyone.
That's true.
So, yeah. Now, the next one I have is fear of losing that partner. Now, I guess part of my question is, if you got to lie because you think that you're going to lose me, did you really have me in the first place? Did you get me off of false pretenses?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, you're in jeopardy of losing them anyway, because first of all, you're lying, and they're going to get tired, of catching you in lies. If you are, if they are catching you in lies, so you're going to end up losing that person anyway. Or if you don't totally lose them, you're going to lose their trust, and they're not going to look at you the same way. So, and they'll stay with you probably, but it changes the dynamics of the relationship. So who wants to go, they're going to, second guess everything that you say. If you say something, you're not going to believe you. So you want to just be, like I say, be transparent, tell the truth. And so that you won't have to deal with all that extra drama.
Right. But a lot of people don't realize, too, where else that can lead. So if you lying to me for a fear of losing me, that could spark, some infidelity. I could be like, you know what, I don't even know this person anymore. And instead of me really just breaking it off, in different relationships, that could cause them to look elsewhere and, cause some infidelity in the relationship. And of course, that's the last thing you want, especially if you really love and want to be with this person. So just nip it all in the bud and just tell the truth from the beginning.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So the other one is they think they can get away with it, or just a little, just narcissistic. And that could be huge. It could be for a lot of people, that could be an area of, let me just see if I can get away with it. Like I
Mm.
feel like I'm so slick, I could tell her anything. She'll never find out. You how many times do we see people with different lives? They got a household over here, a household over there, and I mean just
All
lie.
over the place.
Yeah, they are. They really are. So
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, narcissistic is big. I mean, I know there are quite a few people out here that are like that. And if you are, you should seek treatment for
Most
that.
definitely. Most definitely.
Yes. So yeah. And then the last one we already kind of hit on was the keeping up with the Joneses. And we really just need to find a way, if anything, to almost start to balance those things that we want. So we need to balance those goals that we have with, maybe a little bit of splurging. That way, like I said, we can meet in the middle. So what's your thoughts? You have any thoughts on that?
Yes, I do. Yeah. So basically, what you're saying is that we need to, you know, the first thing you want to do is you want to be more mindful of your money.
Definitely.
And
Definitely.
so, so yes, so you want to be more mindful of how you're spending your money.
Hmm.
And that goes back to pay yourself first in our episodes prior to this one.
Hmm.
And you want to invest properly. So if you're investing your money properly, then you'll have extra money to buy those little luxuries every now and then that you want.
Yeah. And two, in relationships, a lot of times they say that, people should have separate bank accounts. You should
Mhm.
have, let's say, maybe 4 to 5 different bank accounts. You should have one with your little play money, pot of money, one that your partner should have, for him to do whatever he wants to do, and maybe one that you pay your bills out of. Anything extra needs to be going to make you some money somewhere. Now we have kind of recapped, like I said, about the accounts that we have. Most people only really know about investing. If they're in the workforce, a lot of people know nothing about the stock market. So, a 401k is their prize. And a lot of people don't realize that actually deals with a section of the IRS code, um, actually, section 401, section K. And so, just because that section is there, people need to know there are other sections that actually would be better for you. Um, the founder of the 401k, as we brought up before, has already said that this does not work for retirement, it does not work for saving. And so we want to use a different section. There is a section that we use, section IRC 162. And with the accounts that we have, there are other sections of the code that we can use to help you build money and build wealth. And it's actually a really beautiful thing. Don't you don't you think so?
I think so too. I think so too. I
Yeah.
think it's awesome. Yeah, I think it's
Okay.
awesome that we can help people with investing their money where they don't have to worry about losing any money.
Right.
Yeah.
And just think about how much stronger the family could be.
Hmm.
Having this account and actually putting your money in and letting it grow. So putting your money somewhere where it's safe, not having to endure those losses. One in every 2 marriages break up for, either marital infidelity or for financial reasons.
Hmm.
So knowing that from the beginning, we should put a something in place to make sure that that does not happen in our relationship, in our marriage. Plenty of people have gone through that. And, we don't have to prove them wrong. We trust
Right.
you. That
Right.
was an issue in your relationship. So let's maybe we should start talking to our partners about different ways. Like I said, how can we do this where we can build together and make sure that we're strong together and strong financially?
Right. So, how can we tie this in, Dr. Verneka, with the lives and finances as we move forward today? So, how can we all tie this in? Let's tie all this up.
So yeah. So look, first thing I would say, a lot of times when I meet with clients, I want to know what their story is. What do they do? I want to know, what are they looking to accomplish? And so if they're looking to, if you're 40 and you're looking to be retired by 60, okay, we need to put some parameters in place to do that. My next question is, you get to decide how much you want to save for yourself. With the accounts that we do, it's not like you're throwing money to somebody else. You really are you're throwing the money and you catching it for yourself, just in a different type of account.
Mhm.
So think about how much harder that would be if we're trying to save our money dollar for dollar, or
Mhm.
if we pick an investment vehicle where, yeah, we can have some gains, but a lot of times we have more losses than anything. The losses add up. And just because you lose in that account, that does not mean the IRS is still coming for their portion. So a lot of people don't realize you lose on two fronts. Even if you made a smart decision, you end up taking a few steps back when the IRS comes for their piece. And a lot of people who invest in the stock market, they may have hit it big, but they're going to get you with capital gains tax. Capital gains can be as much as 40%. For a lot of people, it can be as much as 43%. So almost half of your money, being gone just because of the type of vehicle that you decide to put your money in, when you could have put your money in a better place. And I would say put your money there, just because of knowledge. A lot of people don't know about this account.
Okay.
So yeah. And then two, like I said, not only are we putting our money somewhere where it's safe, like I said, you do get the compound interest. And like I said, for a lot of people, they don't even know really what compound interest really is, but it's, of course, I'm a pharmacist by trade. So, I've been in the lab my whole life. I've dealt with biology, and most people have seen what a cell looks like, a cell in the body. In order to reproduce a cell, the cell has to divide and make two. And then those two cells divide and make four. Think about if your money was doing the same thing versus sitting somewhere where it's not doing it, like a bank. And so the problem comes in where most people put the majority of their money in the bank and they're not getting any money for it. Meanwhile, somebody, like I said, is getting compound interest. The bank is taking your money and placing it in the same type of accounts that we help our clients with. So they're making that compound interest. So, if anything, I think families need to start fighting for their portion. So, either the bank is going to make that compound interest or you and your family is going to. Which one will it be?
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead,
No, I
sweetie.
was going to say. So, are you saying that this will get rid of the deception in the relationships? I mean, I'm just trying to make sure that.
I think so. You putting everything out on Front Street and you
Okay.
realize y'all are building together. And
Okay.
having those other separate checking accounts, he or she can do whatever they want. I probably would sit down with your mate and be like, okay, we got a limit on how much we can spend. You have $200 out of your check that you can splurge and do whatever you want to. But every month, we're making an effort to put a certain amount of money back into this account. And honestly, I think in doing that, it's actually going to strengthen marriage and make your partner sexier. I
Yeah,
mean, I
that's true.
know I would be like, ooh, that's a whole different feeling.
Yeah, that's
He's
true.
looking attractive. We build it. We're seeing our money build. That's a whole different dynamic. And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because
And like,
you find too in a lot of relationships when people don't have money, they like you say, we talked about earlier, they're on bad terms, nothing is good, they're not
right,
even attractive anymore to each other. So
right.
yeah, that's when. And then it's kind of sad to say, but it's true.
Mhm.
But when you do have money and things are flourishing and things do look different, your life
Yeah,
looks different, and so
yeah.
yeah, it makes a
And
happier
something else
relationship.
that looks sexier.
Yeah.
Something else that looks sexier besides that
Oh,
compound interest.
what's that?
The fact that this money is growing tax free. Now that is
Oh,
sexy.
most definitely.
Oh, I mean, that is hot. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
honestly, if I met a man who was already putting his money in this type of account, I'd be like, ooh, okay, that
Mhm.
just made you level up, in my mind. Like,
Right,
wow, okay, he took the time to research and whatever else. Because a lot of times, you don't know what you don't know until somebody tells you something you don't know. And so
right, right.
we're here to tell people about, this account that they don't know about. It's been under wraps for a long time. And
Right.
so, I mean, that's hot. I think the living benefits that come with this account is hot. If I
Hmm.
get sick, how cool is that? That he thought about it enough to where if he gets sick, we have income replacement. the
Yes,
with the account, the company will mail you a check every single month if something happens, if you become critically ill, chronically ill, or terminally ill. And that's a big deal. The fact that he had the forethought of, something is probably going to happen in life. In life, things happen.
that's true.
But I want to make sure me and my girl, me and my family are protected. My babies don't go without. We keep a roof over our head. And to me, that's a big deal. Like, that's a sign that, I might be on the right track. I might have the right person, who I really want to live with.
Who's looking out for you? That's true. That's
Yeah,
true.
that's
Yeah,
hot.
that's true. Yeah. Yeah, that
Mhm.
is sexy. Hey,
Yeah.
that's sexy.
Yeah, it is. And then, of course, the last little thing, that the little
Mhm.
cherry on top,
Mhm.
is the fact that it comes with a legacy benefit. So
Yeah.
if he left this earth, you know, the money that he put in the account, plus, well, the money we put in the account, we
Yeah.
put in the account plus what grew, plus
Mhm.
this legacy benefit is gifted to the family. And that's super hot. The account actually avoids probate and it avoids lawsuits. I don't know, sis, if you saw the article from, I think it was a few weeks ago, not quite
Mhm.
a month
Mhm.
ago, about Chadwick Boseman and his wife.
Yes, I did. That was
Yes,
so unfortunate. Yeah. Yeah.
yes. From his passing, he did not have one of these in place.
I
And,
know.
even though he was worth millions, she only got a fraction of what
Yeah.
he was worth. I can't remember the exact numbers, but it
I
was a big
can't.
deal.
It was a big deal. I think he gave away about $1 million in taxes. I think.
Well,
Uh,
I think it might have been a little bit more, maybe a little bit more than that. So his account went to probate, and
right.
a lot of people
So
don't realize,
probate court. Yeah. I'm
yeah,
sorry. Go
a
ahead.
lot of people don't realize when your account goes to probate, you still have to pay those probate fees. You have to
Right.
pay the court, you have to pay a lawyer. Someone is trying to take you to court for part of that money. A lot of that
Right.
money is lost in probate court. So she lost a good amount. I think I can't.
She did. She did. It was terrible what she lost. It says, I found it. It says he had
Okay.
a $2.3 million estate to split amongst his wife and his parent. He said, however, after court fees, reimbursements, at $51,000 tax bill, and another $900,000 from a probate case, the estate value totals 2.3 million, which the
Wow.
family will split, and the couple began dating. Okay, so let's talk about their dating before he was diagnosed, and secretly after his diagnosis of stage 3 colon cancer. So he had to pay out quite a bit of money,
Right.
that he could have kept, and he would have. Oh my God, no telling how much money he would have had
Hmm.
if he had an
Yeah.
account that we have.
Yeah, and the account is not contestable. So, in contrast to Chadwick Boseman, I'm gonna name another family. I have to, y'all just have to take the context clues of
Mhm.
someone who played NBA basketball, someone who was infamous for riding helicopters, someone who passed tragically in front of our eyes, who played, in LA for the LA Lakers, let's just say.
Mhm.
He, on the other hand, had the forethought, even though he had his money tied up in different other investments, he had enough sense to have one of these accounts with us. So he had an account, with our company. And upon the day that that helicopter crash, his family was gifted several million, several, let's just say
100
100
million.
million,
Right. Yeah.
and passed along with no probate whatsoever. Now, let me say why this is important, because as all of us know, with being famous and being wealthy, whenever something happens, they're going to blame you, and people are going to be trying to, get money off of you. A lot of people felt like, what happened was his fault and the family should pay. Well, all the other investments were tied up in probate court. They
Mhm.
were tied up, and his wife could not get to any of it. Not ours, though. Ours was, sent to her and received in, about between 3 and 4 days later. And that was the only money that she had to move around. And that, like I said, that's because that money was free from probate, free from taxes, from lawsuits. And even though other families were trying to sue her, they can sue for a lot of things. But what's in that account, these several hundred million, they could not touch. And to me, that's huge.
That is huge. That's
Yeah,
huge. That's preparation.
it is. It is. And so, the same way that he had forethought for him and his family, we want to encourage other people to have forethought for you and your family.
Mhm.
A lot of people don't realize this is a way to really pass on generational wealth. Not only to live a great life, a comfortable life, a fun life. We're all about, fun, finance, family. We're all about having a good time, especially while we're here on earth. We don't
Right.
need the cloudiness of, a partner who's lying to us and trying to hide things. Why? When we can put it out on the table, we can fix things together, and we can be stronger in the end. We can build
Right.
together, build this empire, have a good time. And then the day that one of us has to leave, or we have to leave this earth, like, at least we know, okay, I had a good time with my family, and I'm leaving them with the best of the best. I'm leaving them with money behind, because people don't realize there is really, everyone should have a financial needs analysis. We can do those. We can do them for free. A lot of
Mhm.
companies will charge you between 2,000 to 2,500 to have that done. But we can do it for free. And we actually look at a couple of different things. We look at something called your dime score. So we want to look at, how much debt you're in. We also want to look at, for how much income do you want to, how much income do you bring in? For M, we want to know, what your mortgage is. And then for E, we want to account for education. So whereas a lot of people feel like, oh, I got some money, I got enough to bury me. Okay, when you leave, there's tons of things that need to be taken care of. Your family still has debt. A lot of people still have outstanding debt, from the person that passed, that they need to take care of. Your income. A lot of people don't realize, if you had a mate that made, 100 grand a year, let's just for picking numbers, 100 grand a year, and that person isn't there, that means for the next 20 years, I'm gonna be missing that 100 grand.
That's true.
That's something we need to account for
Mhm.
when we look at your, financial needs analysis. And we need to make sure, if anything happens to Jimmy, Greg, whoever will, whatever name it is, that income is there. So we do want to account for that. So that 100 grand, we will multiply that out by, at least if you have 20 good working years left, we want to account for that in the policy. Your mortgage, you want to be able to pay that mortgage off. You don't want that money, you don't want that looming. You don't
Yeah.
want your family wondering how we going to keep a roof over our head because our breadwinner and our hero is gone. So
True.
that's something too that we need to think about. And of course, educational costs. We want our children to grow up, and a lot of us want our children to go to college. Some may
Mhm.
feel like college isn't for them, but we don't want to go into a whole bunch of debt trying to help them get to college, and we don't want them coming out with a whole bunch of debt. Because I
Yeah.
mean, that's almost like starting a football game. Instead of starting in the middle line, you starting back in the locker room, trying to come forward and get ahead. That's a whole different story. And
Yeah.
so it's so much that we need to prep for. And
It's
like I
true.
said, that's what we're here for. And a lot of people don't realize it, but it's a conversation that needs to be had.
It's true.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times when people do not prepare, most often, they lose a spouse, that's the breadwinner.
Mhm.
They lose. They can, they have the chance of losing their home,
They do.
um, because you still have a mortgage.
Hmm.
And oftentimes when people buy homes, they can take out a little policy called, it's a term policy that covers, help you cover the house,
Right.
called mortgage protection is what it's called.
Hmm.
And so, but oftentimes when you're so excited, a lot of times people don't even take advantage of that. They're so,
Yeah.
excited about buying the house, they don't think about
Hmm.
it. And so, but yeah, so when you're not prepared, and then life happens, it does. It could be awful. It could be devastating, to a family. They could lose their home. Children won't be able to pursue their educational dreams. It's just so many things that can stop,
Yes.
when you don't prepare yourself. So you definitely need to be prepared in your marriage, your relationship with your significant other. If you're thinking about getting married, that need to be a conversation that you need to start having.
Definitely.
How you gonna put your money together, how you gonna spend this money, how you gonna grow your money,
Hmm.
and then you can, proceed to move forward.
Yeah.
You can have a
And
long, sustainable relationship, and your money will not be an issue. It may be something else, but it won't be money.
right, right. And don't
It's
get us
always something. It's always something, but
right.
it won't
Money
be
is
one of them.
important. People like to say money ain't everything. It's not, but at the same time, it does make things a whole lot
A
easier.
whole lot
I can
easier.
operate better. I
Yeah,
can help more people. So money is needed.
yeah, most
Two,
definitely.
I'm glad you kind of brought that up about having a roof over their head. I
Mhm.
have a little story about a client who, like I said, they were actually talking about getting one of these accounts. The
Mhm.
husband wanted to get one. The wife was like, what do we need that for? We can do other stuff with that money. They
Mhm.
actually did not get a policy that night, but the husband had a little bit of almost intuition that something maybe was going to happen.
Mhm.
Gave up a call and was like, hey, I need y'all to meet me at like Starbucks because I want to go ahead and get one of those policies. I'm just going to do it, not really behind my wife's back, but I just want to make sure. Sounds good. So, believe it or not, less than 3 weeks later, this gentleman passed.
Oh wow.
The wife was actually the wife was very distraught because of course she was thinking they didn't have anything in place and they were on the verge of losing their home. So even before the funeral, they were trying to figure out, A, how are we going to pay for the funeral? B, how are we going to keep a roof over our head? She
Mhm.
was actually discussing um, trying to sell the house and moving the children out because she couldn't sustain the
Hmm.
bills. Meanwhile, one of our representatives showed up to the funeral with, a nice arrangement and a nice check. That check
Hmm.
was for about $750,000. And
Wow.
you're talking about, you know, what an amazing blessing, because she thought she didn't have anything. But the husband had the forethought, like, let me make sure
My
that
family is good.
good.
Yeah, yeah.
So it had a nice ending, but not,
Mhm.
it doesn't happen like that all the time.
Right.
But like I said, with that money, she actually took part of it and put it back. And she realized the importance of having one of these. So
Yeah.
she was able to save her house. They didn't have to move out. The children were okay. And she was able to take a good portion of that. And she was like, let me put it back in one of these accounts. That way we can be covered again. And my money can
Mm.
be gaining compound interest.
Wow, that is awesome. That is awesome. And stories like that really inspire me, and it, and that's the reason why it makes me want to do what I do, because of
Right.
you have stories like that when you can help someone to save their home, save their families from, being outdoors, and people and their children can still live out their dreams. So that's why we do what we do, you know,
Yeah. And the
educate
home,
people. Hmm.
yeah. And the home is the most important thing out here. People don't realize, if you buy an iPhone, the first thing people are going to do is put some insurance on it. Either that, in case I drop it, I want to make sure that
It's
I don't
taken
have a
care
cracked
of. Yeah.
screen, or if I lose it, I'm covered.
Right.
With your car, it's illegal to drive without car
Without
insurance.
insurance. That's
You
true.
have to have car insurance.
Hmm.
When you buy a home, you have to have, insurance on the home.
Hmm.
You have that on your family, your most prized possession. That's the one thing that matters out of everything. All of
That's
those
true.
other things are material items that can be replaced. Your family cannot.
That's true.
So we definitely want to encourage people to, like I said, um, reach out to us. Like I said, our services are totally free. Our services are complimentary. All you have to do is just reach out to us. We can meet with you. We can, if you need us to, we can meet with you in person, or we meet on Zoom, which is real simple. It's still face to face, and you still get the same quality of appointment. We're just able to take precautions for everyone, just with everything going on. So, just in case, Dr. Renee, I know you are in the Chattanooga area. Would
Yeah.
you kindly tell the people where they could find you?
Okay, so I have to get, I have to get my number.
Look, I usually do too.
So I am located on 3661 Brainerd Road, Chattanooga, Tennessee, and my phone number is 1855. I could lift the one off. 937-6742. That's 855-937-6742. And
Yes.
also, if you're interested in learning about financial literacy, please reach out to us. You can join us on this venture that we're spearheading, and we would love to talk to you about it. And so you can learn more about financial literacy, so you can share it with your family members, in your community. It's so important to learn about financial literacy and the importance that it has on your economic stability. And so please reach out to us if you want to learn more. And you can call me
Mhm.
again at 855-937-6742.
Yeah. And as you, just to piggyback a little bit, do it for yourself and for your family.
Sure.
Initially, when I was introduced to this, it was for me. It was for me to be a client, for me to learn a little bit of education, something no one has ever told me before. I had traditional 401ks before we work, up and down, and I really didn't know what was going on. I just signed up for it, and knew that, okay, my money was going over here, I'm saving for retirement, but I didn't know the logistics in the very beginning
Right.
when I first got out of school, let me say. Over time, I was introduced to this by a good friend of mine, and he was a nurse, and he was like, V, we got to do something. We got to do something better, because, we can't be trapped here for our whole lives. And
Mhm.
so I was introduced to this, to be a client and to take a look at it. But someone offered me the opportunity to become an agent. And I was like, Okay, I don't know, but I just kind of took it on a whim and bam, here we are.
Yeah.
I did that for myself and to change how I do things for me and my family, not knowing that I could come aboard, learn from the best of the best, the top people in the world as to how the richest people in the world do their money and how
Mhm.
I could apply it at my own level. And that
Right.
makes a huge difference. A lot of people think that it takes a whole bunch of money, but it does not.
Mm-mm.
We do these accounts for children. We do $1 Million Baby. And there's ways that if families don't have a lot of money, the idea is for you still have an account where your money is getting compound interest. There's
Mhm.
different workarounds that we can do. So don't have the idea that just because I don't have a lot, I can't do this.
Right.
If somebody has $50, $75 a month, cut your cable bill in half and put some of that money to the side. We can do
Yeah,
some stuff with that.
that's
So,
true. That's true.
like I said, you don't need a whole lot of money. But let me give you my contact info too. I'm right outside of the Nashville area. But like I said, I'm with the power of Zoom, we can be anywhere. So my phone number is actually on the screen, 1-833-837-6352. And again, that is 1-833-837-6352. And like I said, you can reach me directly. If when you ring that phone number, you will get me. So like there's no assistant, no anything. You're gonna get me. And like I said, we're gonna do the best that we can to help you and help set your family up for life. So I think it's almost a wrap. I have
Yeah, it's been a great show today. Just just bringing everything together. So we want you to be transparent in your relationships. We want you
Mhm.
to build and be vulnerable with your mate
Yes.
and talk about your financial goals so that you can
Mhm.
move forward, be secure, and not have to tell white lies or any lies at all, to be deceptive in anything so that you can have a very fruitful future in your relationships.
Right. And so we're gonna see you next week. We're in our July series of what can be the four transgressions when you mix love, relationship, and finance. We already did love. Today we did lies. And next week, y'all be ready for us to talk about greed.
Ooh.
Ooh. So I know. Look, it's gonna be a doozy. So look, we're signing off.
Yes.
Until next week, when we can
Next
do some
week.
more chick chatting about some more
More
money. We'll
money.
see y'all
Take
then.
care. See you next week.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.